my name is Regine Mora. I go on all my platforms as Mommy Mango. I help mommies rehab their core, flatten, tighten, strengthen their mommy tummy, pelvic floor, back, helps with back pain, pelvic floor issues, and a loose, weak mommy tummy. So today I wanted to talk about the connection between the pelvic floor and your mommy tummy. If you have a loose, weak mommy tummy, it's not just a situation of wanting to flatten and tighten your mommy tummy for aesthetic reasons. A loose, weak mommy tummy is actually connected to your pelvic floor. If your deep core muscles are loose and weak, you might not be getting the full pelvic floor engagement that you need to prevent leaks, to just feel nice and strong, to also have pleasurable time with your partner. All of that is connected. So I wanted to talk about that for just a little bit today, do a quick demonstration of how it's connected so that you can connect in your mind how your mommy tummy is connected to your pelvic floor. Because I know that sounds really strange, but when you do this demonstration with me, you're going to see how it's connected and you'll never forget it, okay? All right, I have about 10 minutes because I have somewhere to go, but I've been meaning to get on here since yesterday, so I need to, I have to go through this because I've been getting a lot of pelvic floor questions, whether you have a tight pelvic floor, weak pelvic floor, whether you have leaking issues, prolapse issues, even lower back pain. I've had a few moms lately who have back pain who I've asked them, hey, do you also have pelvic floor issues? And they're like, yeah, how do you know? I said, because it's often linked. Like all of this stuff is linked. And so that's why when I talk to moms and I post on my Facebook Reels, Instagram, here on TikTok, and on YouTube, when I post heal your mommy tummy, fix your mommy tummy, and people like to attack me. They're like, there's nothing wrong with me, I don't need anything fixed, so that's just a few people will say that. Most people get it. But the issue is having looseness or weakness in our core, whether it's mommy tummy, pelvic floor, back, that creates a lot of functional issues for us, and we don't want to have to move through life feeling like we have to deal with back pain, deal with pelvic floor issues, or deal with pain in our pelvic area at all, or our tummy, or that looseness. Like, we don't have to deal with it if we don't want to. So I am when I work with moms, the biggest issue they come to me for is the mommy tummy. It's loose, it's weak, they don't feel comfortable, it's just very stretched out. And here's the situation, and let me just explain this so that it makes sense with how it's connected to your pelvic floor. That's why I wear all this. So during pregnancy, we get all stretched out, right? All these muscles get stretched out. Now, your abdominal wall is made of several muscles, not just your rectus abdominis or the six pack, but you also have your obliques, your external obliques, your internal obliques. Deep inside, you have your innermost ab muscle. It's called your transverse abdominis. That wraps around your waistline and cinches you in, okay? That muscle gets really stretched out because the baby needs to grow, and a muscle that's tightening your waistline in is not going to be helpful for when you're needing to actually stretch out for the baby, right? So that's the muscle that we're often needing to give a little extra special attention to postpartum, and it's often the muscle that's often forgotten. A lot of times, a lot of traditional ab exercises focus on the rectus abdominis, the more superficial muscles of the ab, because they want that, like a lot of people want that six-pack look, which is not bad. It's just that our deep core needs not to be neglected, that deep transverse abdominis muscle. Now, with the transverse abdominis, not only is that something that we need to pay attention to for tightening the mommy tummy, because it's literally like a waist trainer. It's your corset muscle, the transverse abdominis is. But that muscle is also works synergistically. It works together with your pelvic floor muscle. And so if you don't have a strong deep core muscle, the one that wraps around and cinches your waistline in, if that muscle isn't strong, oftentimes the pelvic floor cannot be as strong as it needs to be either, okay? So I'm just curious, for those of you who are on here and are interested in strengthening and tightening your mommy tummy, do you also have any pelvic floor issues, leaking, painful intercourse, prolapse, or any of that. If you have any of that, I'd love for you to say me in the comments. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes, I'm seeing people saying yes in the comments because oftentimes they are connected, okay? So if you don't believe me, I want you to do this quick demonstration with me so that you can connect it in your brain. And then I'm going to show you how you can start working on those two things together, because that's how we work. Like when I do my exercises with my ladies, whether it's in my paid program, my free program, my free exercises that you can get in the links in my bio, I really like to work both together. So I'm not just all about mommy tummy, all about pelvic floor, but because they are connected, it's ideal to train them together so they learn how to work together and they get strong together, okay? Because that's what makes the most sense, all right? Thank you so much for the likes. I see that you guys are giving all the hearts and everything. It lets the algorithm know that we're talking about something that really jives with you, so thank you so much. Okay, I want you to try this exercise with me so that you can see that they are both connected, all right? We're going to try a Kegel, and I want you, as you're doing this Kegel, to tell me what you're feeling in your abs. I don't want you to try to do anything with your abs at all. I want you just to I want you to engage your pelvic floor muscles only, okay? But I want you to pay attention to what's going on in your core. This is what I want you to imagine. You can be sitting, standing, wherever you are. I want you to pretend as though you are picking up a marble with your lady parts, okay? Pretend as though you're grabbing it. Now pretend as though you're lifting it all the way up to your belly button. Hold it there. Now, paying attention to what's going on in your stomach, I want you to lower it down. And I want you to open up and relax fully, okay? What did you feel going on in your abs? Did you feel anything? Did you feel anything going on there? Let me know in the comments, what did you feel going on in your abs, okay? Yeah, there was a tightening, and when you relaxed it, the tummy kind of relaxed too, okay? Yes, all right. Yes, you felt tightness, you felt it tight. Exactly, that's because when you are drawing that pretend marble up, by drawing up your pelvic floor, that takes abdominal muscles. That takes your deep core to pull it up all the way. So if you're not getting that, if you're not having that ability to make a full contraction of your pelvic floor, that's going to be in part because your deep core muscles, that muscle, the transverse abdominis that wraps around your waistline and cinches you in, that muscle is needed to bring that full contraction of the pelvic floor. If you don't have that strength in your deep core, in your transverse abdominis, that deep abdominal muscle that wraps around, cinches you in, then you're not going to get that complete pelvic floor contraction, okay? All right, now let's try a different thing, all right? I want you to engage the transverse abdominis, relax your pelvic floor, and then let me know what's happening with your pelvic floor, okay? Then you're going to let me know what's happening, all right? This is how you engage your transverse abdominis. This is one way, this is probably the favorite way that people tell me that makes sense to them. I want you to pretend as though you're putting on a tight pair of jeans, okay? Now I want you to pretend as though you're buttoning them and you're trying to zip them up without getting your skin caught in the zipper, okay? Pay attention to what's going on in your pelvic floor. I want you to relax it now. What happened in your pelvic floor? Think about it. What did just happen in your pelvic floor? Okay, I want you to try it one more time while I see the comments coming up. I want you to try this one more time with me. We're going to activate the transverse abdominis. The transverse abdominis wraps around your waistline, cinches you in. Yes, I see somebody. I felt it move as well. Exactly, it's connected, okay? But let's try it one more time for those who missed that, okay? We're going to engage our deep core muscle that wraps around our waistline, cinches us in. It's called the transverse abdominis. Now I want you to pretend as though you're putting on a tight pair of jeans. You're buttoning those jeans, and you're trying to zip up the zipper without getting your skin caught. So you're going to draw that lower ab in, okay? Now hold that there, okay? Hold that. Now pay attention to what's going on in your pelvic floor as you fully relax. What else was relaxing with it? Yes, you even felt it in your back. Yes, okay? Because that muscle wraps all the way around your waistline, cinches you in all the way around, but it's also pulling up your pelvic floor with it. Yes, you felt it all over. Yes, that is how we should be engaging so that we can really make a difference with tightening our mommy tummy. Those crunches and those sit-ups that you've been doing are great if you're wanting to just have a six-pack, but if you're wanting to tighten up your waistline and cinch it all back in, also strengthen your pelvic floor and support your back, because I saw a lot of you said your back felt tight. You felt it in your back. That's because all of that is connected. That's why when you do the exercises that I have for free in my bio and all on these platforms, whether you're on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, if you're seeing this and you see all the exercises that I'm doing, that is to really help bring that all together, to focus on the pelvic floor, the deep core that wraps around and cinches you in, because that's what's going to make the difference. That's why my ladies see success when they're doing these exercises, because it's different than just doing sit-ups, that just focusing on the six-pack muscles. We're focusing on that waistline muscle, okay? So if you're struggling with your pelvic floor, do not neglect your mommy tummy, okay? Do not neglect tightening and strengthening that area, because they are connected. Here's a quick story I had with my first baby. I've had 4 babies, by the way. With my first baby, I pushed him out really fast, and when he came out, he literally tore me open on the left side of my vaginal wall. I had to have like emergency surgery. They had to give me blood. I was losing so much blood that it got pretty bad. Now, years later, I find out I have atrophy on that side, and I always wondered, when I would engage my abs, my left side would kind of bulge out. Like I had a lopsided tummy. Like I had this pregnant looking little belly, but the left side actually bulged out a little bit more than the right side. And I was always wondering, like, why am I getting this left side that hangs more than the right side? And I would try to engage my abs, and it seemed like it was okay. But what was interesting was I could get the muscle to balance out if I did a good Kegel. The problem with my stomach being lopsided wasn't necessarily my stomach muscles by itself. It was my pelvic floor that had been ripped. What happens when we have a rip, like I saw somebody here that said that they had a C-section. Now, C-section is very similar. If you have a tear or a cut through a muscle, it deactivates the muscle. And it's really important to really activate that muscle through doing engagement exercises for those muscles, but also deep tissue massage release. That's a tip for those who were on here saying they had a C-section. If you had any kind of abdominal surgery, any kind of vaginal trauma when you had your babies, even if you have a tattoo down here, like literally any kind of disturbance to the fascia or muscles, that can cause tightness, unevenness, unbalance. It can cause just an atrophy of the muscles, and it's all connected. It's so important, if you've had any kind of trauma like that, to do deep tissue massage on those scar areas, because you really want to break up that scar tissue, and you want to do some work on the engagement of that, because that's what happened to me. And I was always wondering what was going on. I'm doing all these ab exercises, and I'm like, it's not quite. If for some reason I'm getting this lopsided engagement, it was because I had a tear in my pelvic floor. And your pelvic floor is connected to your mommy tummy, your deep core muscles. So it's so important to understand that all of that's connected. So when you're doing some type of rehab, whether it's for your mommy tummy to tighten and strengthen, whether it's for your pelvic floor, know that it's really important to do those together. And that's why a lot of the exercises you'll find here are integrating both of those things together, whether you know it or not. Now you know it because you actually did some exercises that showed you that they're both connected, but now you know it's so important to work on those things together.